Hey guys, welcome back to KC Farms. It's John in Brooklyn. Today we're talking about part 2, 6 tips to raising pigs. Let's get started. So guys, in part 1 of our 6 tips to raising pigs, we talked about different terms like boars and gilts and sows and dams, sires. If you didn't see that, we'll put that video up here. The second tip we talked about was what we feed and how much we feed. And the third tip we talked about was the different feeders we use and the different waterers we use. So let me preface this by saying we are not experts. We've been doing this for 2 years and we're still learning as we go. So if you have any comments or things that you may do differently on your farm that work for you guys, go ahead and put them down below in the comments. Let's get started with the second part, tip number 4. Tip number 4 is the housing. Now, we have this barn now. This is my mother-in-law's property and she lets us use it. But when we first moved to the property, we didn't have any housing for our animals, so we had to get creative because we didn't have a ton of money. So we're going to show you the different types of housing structures that we use here on our farm. Let's go. All right, when you're thinking of shelter, you want something that you can keep your animals out of the elements in, something where they can go in and get dry and stay warm when it's cold, or shade in the summer. And the first one we're going to talk about is our most expensive option that we weren't able to get until a couple years into our farming, and that is our
barns.
All right, so we've got 2 of these, and you may have seen them before on a video, and these are permanent shelters, obviously. We like to keep our animals moving, but we went with a permanent shelter, and Jamie and I came up with this design. It's just a square, I believe it's 16 by 16, and we got 4 different stalls in here. We've got our girls in here.
Penny, there's Zelly, and there's Millie.
We got the girls in here, and it is a permanent shelter, but we are able to rotate our pigs around it, so we keep them moving. That's important to us, to keep our animals moving around. So they were just in here, and I moved their fence over here, so they got a new paddock. Then they'll come to this stall, and we'll move all the way around this barn. So it is the most expensive option, but it's a good way to keep them out of the elements. Something we put in here that we weren't sure we wanted, but you may want with pigs, is these wooden sides around the inside, because they like to lean and rub and scratch, and they will bend up this metal pretty easily if you don't have something in there for them.
Also, barns are good that you can just walk in them straight instead of having to squat down to get in them.
Yeah, you don't have to bang your head on anything, huh?
Yeah, I've banged my head quite a few times.
All right, let's go to option number 2 that we have for housing. So when we started with pigs, we wanted to keep them moving. That was something important to us on our farm. So that's why with the barns, we rotate them around and keep them moving. So I built our first shelter. I think I got a picture of it right here. It was heavy and cumbersome, and it was on boards where I could slide it, but it was hard to move, so that made it difficult. So we went with this next option we thought about, and we were thinking of ease of moving it and also able to keep them dry. The other shelter that we had didn't have a bottom in it, so when it rained really bad, it would still get really wet in the bottom. So our second option is a
Pigloo.
Guys, these are our pigloos. We've done some videos on these, and I'll post them in there, or you can just check it out here. But it is just a water stock tank, and we've cut open a door, and for the most part it keeps their hay dry in there. The important thing, we had the floor on the bottom to keep it dry, and the best part about it is how easy it is to move. So we've got these guys ready to move down here. We got their fence. Sis, can you turn the fence off? Brooklyn's gonna turn that fence off. We're gonna move these guys to their new paddock, and then we're gonna show you how easy it is to move their house. We wanted something we could move without tractors or heavy equipment, and just one person can do it. So we'll show you how that works. All right, we got the pigs moved over to the new paddock. Brooklyn's gonna take over on the camera here, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to move. It's a little heavy to get it up at first, but once you get it going, I guess your only other problem would be stopping it when you're going downhill, which we are kind of going downhill here, so we'll see how it goes. Here you go, Brooke. That one was really easy. We got Kevin a little bit putting it down, so that would be one thing you want to watch out for. Normally I'll take these fences down, but if you go in between the fence there, it will roll right over. So pig glue is our option number 2, which is actually our favorite option for housing. We've got 3 of them and we got 2 more coming, and the pigs like to scratch up on there. The old hay that rolls out back there, we just spread it over the spots where they've got it all muddied or mucked up from rooting a little bit. So we'll grab some new hay for that. Let's go on to our 3rd option for housing. All right, guys, let's go. The last shelter we're going to show you today, the 3rd option is our pallet shelter. All right, got a video about this too that I'll link up there. And guys, this is our cheapest shelter. It is not portable. I have seen people do them portable, but it is just pallets screwed together at the ends, and I've got pallets up here on the roof, and we put metal on the outside, and it has worked great. Like I said, it's not portable obviously, but we used it as a farrowing pen at first, but it wasn't really big enough, and we had some pigs get rolled on. But this is another great option. The same thing with the quack shack right there. That is made out of pallets. Sorry, Brooke, I just hit Brooke. That would make a great pig shelter. Remember, you're just trying to get them out of the wind, the rain, the elements when it's cold and nasty. Be creative, guys. These are obviously not the only options. We're just showing you some that have worked for us and our favorite options. Some people have used these. This is a Jeep topper, but some people use pickup toppers. That would be a great option too. So just be creative, stay within your budget, and your pigs will be happy. Let's move on to tip number 5. Tip number 5 is about your fence. We're going to show you a bunch of different fencing that you can use, and then we'll talk about what we use. So the first one, you can use these electric wires. Seen lots of people do it. They're very cheap. The only thing that's going to cost you a lot is the solar charger. We don't use these. It is an option. Second option, Hazel's in some of it right now because it was already here, is a field fence you can use for pigs. Be careful with piglets because they can fit right through there. We got to keep an eye on them. Okay, another option for fencing is hog panels. These are built especially for hogs. Your rectangles get skinnier down here at the bottom, so your little pigs can't fit through. They open up at the top. That is an option. We've used these in the past, but super hard to move and it takes quite a while. You got T-posts to move and panels to move.
And they're heavy.
And yes, they do get heavy, but that is an option. It's nice to have these when you get new pigs that aren't used to electric. You can put them inside here and train them to electric. So another option, hog panels. All right, we are at my friend's house, lives down the road from us, for our next fencing option, and one of my favorites actually, the cheapest way to go. So he has a pallet fence. He's got his two pigs out here in the woods. He's just got a gate with a latch on there, and you can see it goes all the way down. He's anchored it on some trees, but we went and picked up all these pallets for free, and most of them have small enough openings that a piglet couldn't get out. We had to patch some of them, but here is a very nice option that will save you a lot of money. We got some visitors here watching us. So this is also an option, obviously a permanent option, but a great option for free. You can normally find pallets anywhere for free, people trying to get rid of them. So it's held his pigs in nice, and it's a great option. Planning on he's going to do another one on this side, so he's going to have 2 different paddocks. So the cheapest option It might even be the best option if you're a permanent place for your pigs. Pallets. Okay, last option we're going to talk about today is our Premier One electrical netting. It is our favorite fence, and mainly because we just move our pigs so much. It makes it easy to move. It's easy to step over. I don't have to turn it off all the time. Our piglets are trained to it, so that works out great. It's a little expensive, but in the long run, as much as we're moving them, it is a great option. So the fences aren't that bad. It's more the solar chargers. And you don't have to go with the solar charger, but we're not very close to a lot of electrical outlets when we're moving them through the fields. So that is the reason we go with the solar. But our favorite option is the Premier One electric netting. Works great for the pigs, helps keep some predators out. Obviously anything could jump over that, but when they come up there and start to smell it and it pops them in the nose, it's not a pleasant sight. So
And they run away.
Hopefully. So our electric netting, it's easy to go in and out through the trees in here. Just got to make sure stuff isn't on it. So our number one choice is the Premier One electric netting. On to our last tip, number 6. Tip number 6 is kind of a health tip. We're going to talk about worming, and this is a controversial subject. Many people have different feelings on this, but we don't care how you guys choose to do your pigs, and we choose to do our pigs maybe a different way. So there's vaccinations you can use. You can use Dectomax, ivermectin, what's the other one? Safeguard. A lot of people worm with those. If you choose to go the holistic route, we've used crushed black walnuts and molasses. The last one, I got to read it because I forgot. We used ground pipe tobacco, DE, grapefruit seed extract, and also some wormwood. And those have been great options for us. We've wanted to stay away from vaccines and shots on our farm, and we've been pretty successful with it. And I think a lot of our success comes from moving our pigs constantly, so they're constantly off their manure and on fresh ground. Also, we did the video about the pumpkins. Pumpkin seeds can also work as a natural dewormer. So
oh my gosh, we had so many pumpkins.
Lots of pumpkins. So like I said, a lot of people disagree, and it's to each their own. That's what works on our farm, and that's what we choose to use. So check out those different options for worming. Look them up, research. You can find out what works best for your farm. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed our little 2-part series, 6 quick tips to raising pigs. I know it can be intimidating sometimes when you get new livestock and you've never raised them before. We hope some of these gave you some ideas and some things you can think about as you get ready to raise your own kunekune pigs. If you haven't already, make sure
you like, subscribe, and check us out on Instagram and also Facebook.
All right, guys, see you on the next video.